You really have to wonder. In fact, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
Oh, there's Charlie Kirk going on what I would call an incredibly, I guess, disrespectful would be the least I could say. Racist would be what I would like to say. Rant about affirmative action, given that it was struck down by the Supreme Court. Y'all already won, so I don't know why you're mad. But there we go. And specifically reacting to the fact that prominent black leaders inside of the halls of power, Michelle Obama, former First Lady, Ketanji Brown Jackson, current Supreme Court Justice, have actually spoken out about how affirmative action helped them get into Ivy League schools and get them to where they are. But no, obviously Charlie Kirk proving that white people's fifis were more important. So here he goes with clip 52 or 25 or whatever it is. Sheila Jackson Lee talking about her own experience with affirmative action.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, and particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color, but I can declare that I did not graduate on affirmative action. This is my personal story.
I hear because of action affirmative. She can't even say that. We know. It's very obvious to us that you were not smart enough to be able to get in on your own. I couldn't make it on my own, so I needed to take opportunities from someone more deserving. This is how arrogant Joy Reid and Ketanji Brown Jackson and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee are. They're so narcissistic, they think this is persuasive.
Yes, spoken like a man who dropped out of junior college himself. There we go, y'all. That's that beautiful specimen. Take it away.
Okay, can I go? Here we go.
Please.
This is a big example of the complete misunderstanding of what affirmative action is for, why it was there, what it does about our previous life and our history, which of course, as we've seen much legislation, specifically in Ron DeSantis's Florida, to cover that up. Because if you actually understand the history of our country and the systemic racism that's been around since the beginning, that remains today, you'd understand why it's there. So apparently, according to them, affirmative action is only based off people who don't deserve it, aren't qualified, are too stupid, can't make it, because they're ignoring the fact that the system has held people back. So if you can't get in, but the people that are admitting people that are in hate you because of who you are, that's not being smart enough. That's being discriminated against by the people that talk like this guy, that like to say, you can't do what white people can do because you're an effing racist, number one. Number two, if it's taking a white person's spot, you're admitting that you've already put white people in these places before they're there. How do you know that they're qualified? How do you know they're smart enough? It doesn't matter, they're white. You said it, I didn't. If it's their spot and not someone else's, you've given it to them before you've ever met them. How do you know they're qualified? It's the same reason why you say all these black folks are unqualified because they benefited from it. And you notice which Supreme Court justice he didn't say benefited from affirmative action, who effing did? The guy who agrees with everything that everybody on the Republican side and conservatives tell him to agree with. Weird how that guy wasn't a part of the affirmative action, too stupid to make it, but he was still beneficial from it. But what he did do was pull that ladder away once he was in that position so no one else can make it. And then they go, congratulations, let's pat him on the top of the head. Good job, brother. And by the way, this last flex that he's talking about, how they're too stupid to get it, oh my God, they don't understand it. Bro, everything you say is the most projection type of sentence that it could be put out there. But still, ironically, you're too stupid to get that part.
Yeah. So I want to say a number of different things here. First of all, when he said they don't have the mental power, I loathe this guy. Dude, I almost never bring up that he didn't go to college, right? Charlie Kirk didn't. And then he was trying to influence kids in college. That's why his organization was set up in the first place. But when you're a preschool graduate, don't come and talk about these women that way, okay? Sheila Jackson Lee graduated from Yale University and then went on to law school and is incredibly accomplished. Ketanji Brown Jackson graduated magna cum laude from Harvard University and cum laude from Harvard Law School. So I'm gonna pause there. So let's say that she got in because of affirmative action. Magna cum laude at Harvard, Charlie, give it a shot, see how it turns out for you, okay? That means when she went to Harvard, she killed it. She did so much better than the other students. And it goes on and on for all of those students. But it never works in convincing the Charlie Kirks of the world because he's a natural born racist. So he's like, oh, magna cum laude, that means she outworked everyone and was smarter than everyone at Harvard. But she's not white, you know what I'm saying? Loser, barely made it out of preschool. If you learn something, then you might understand how things work in the world. And they always do this. Barack Obama, he's the head of the Harvard Law Review. Head of the Harvard Law Review is head of the law review in any school means you're the top student. So he got in there affirmative action and then became #1. That's an argument for affirmative action, not against affirmative action. And by the way, I don't even believe in affirmative action, and he almost convinced me that I should. Okay, so this guy's so disgusting. And then
I think JR just did that.
Yeah, well, that too. And by the way, another one of our hosts, Rashad Ritchie, brilliant op-ed on affirmative action in favor of it. Check it out on rollingout.com, okay? So now look, guys, I got a unique opinion on it. I think that what I hate is that rants like that, of course, doesn't work on rational people like us, but it devalues all of our accomplishments, all minorities, all accomplishments, and I loathe that they say things like that about all of us. And then unfortunately, for a lot of people in America, it works. Okay, but that's another conversation and a much larger one. But last thing, so Michelle Obama, he mentions her, and I was like, she took a white person's slot? I'm like, why?
There was a whole audition process.
But of course, in reality, it's not about being first lady. She went to Princeton University. That's because, and law school at Harvard. You know how you get in law school at Harvard? By doing really great at Princeton, okay? And she was at a gifted school for high school students. You know why? Because she's gifted. And all that Charlie Kirk and the right wing does here is damage their own cause. Because anybody that watches that goes, well, if that racist piece of crap is against affirmative action, then I must be for it. So nicely played, Charlie Kirk, you moron. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.